Alright, so in this episode, we're going to go over creating sermons. As you can see, I'm already on the sermon page, and it gives you a couple different ways to filter the sermons, either by categories, which we're using to represent the different congregations, downtown, north, south, west, or I can filter by sermon series as well. Now if you notice, I've got that live search field again, so if you knew of part of the title or whatever, you could also live search that way as well. So that being said, let's add a new sermon. And let's say, for example, we're doing the first sermon in the Romans series. So let's just call this Introduction to Romans. Now, the title, you're not just going to, shouldn't have to just come up with. Someone, either the pastor that's preaching or someone else in the office is going to be giving you the sermon summary sheet, and in that Word document it'll have all this information, the series, passages, etc. So you won't have to really do any of this except for just go off the sheet. So the title is Introduction to Romans. The category, now this is probably the most important part. You want to correctly identify which categories or which congregations it's being preached at. So let's say this sermon series is being preached downtown and also west side. So by having these categories, this will allow the CMS to feed this sermon into the correct iTunes podcasts. So if you don't correctly categorize it, then one of the congregations or whichever congregations will be missing this sermon from their iTunes feed. So the next thing we're going to go to is series, and I just made a category called Roman series. If the name of the series isn't there, you can just press add and then press the green plus sign and then type in the name of the series there. So for the key passage, we're going to have, let's just say Romans 1, verses 1 through chapter 1, verse, say 10. So in the date, we want to obviously plug in the right date. So you can just press the little calendar and then select whatever Sunday it's for. And for preacher, again, it's a drop down, select whoever it's for, or if the preacher isn't there, for example, we have a guest speaker or something, then you can go click on the green plus sign and add new preacher. So once you hit save content, that automatically creates the sermon page ready to be published. So now we want to create a summary for the sermon. This summary is going to be the description of the sermon in iTunes. It'll also give a description in the on the website as well, I believe, right underneath the title of the sermon. But this will be important if you want to add descriptions to iTunes. So from here, we can just type in whatever the summary is. Again, it should be on the sermon summary sheet, so you don't need to make up anything. And then in the keywords, again, they should also be provided in the sermon summary sheet. We want to, obviously, it's probably going to be something like Romans, and then the preacher, let's say it's Tom Barrett, and then whatever other themes there are for that sermon. And the content field is going to be a space reserved for, let's say, if we wanted to expound on the sermon or the sermon series in general as a whole, I'm going to add some images or links to other sites, but it basically just gives you more space and more stuff to work with than just text in the summary description. And this won't show up in iTunes, but it will show up on the website if you click on the sermon. So once you're done with that, you want to hit add content. And you have more drop downs here. What we want to do is select the audio, and if it's been uploaded already, then it should appear here with the correct date, congregation, one of the congregations, since in this case we put downtown and north side, I believe, or downtown and west side. It should have one of those two congregations on there, and then the preacher and the passage. For this example, let's pretend it's not there, and we're going to upload it on the sermon creation site. So another thing we're going to do is we're going to add the sermon art to it. So the sermon art is the little 80 by 60 image that appears next to the sermon in the website. And the way we do that is we add, scroll down to sermon art. And if you notice, there's two sermon art files right now, one for the 2 Timothy series that we finished, and also one for general. Let's just say this one's a general one. This we don't have the Romans image up yet, or it's outside of a regular sermon series. So anything that's independent of a sermon series, we want to use this sermon art general one. And here's where we're going to upload the file. I'm just going to reference back again to the file naming and keyword guidelines that should be posted on the blog site. So here's where we look for audio for sermons. We want to do year, month, day, congregation, preacher, passage. So we're going to do that same thing here. Let's just say it's September 6th. So 090906. And let's say this was downtown. And again, we put two categories for the sermon. We only need one of the congregations here. Just let's, maybe it was recorded downtown, so then we can put DT up there. And then also the preacher and the passage. So Romans 1, verse 1 to 10. Also notice that there's no space. It just sort of allows everything to sort of keep a clean sort of style to it, and keeps things organized. So in the keywords section, go back to that file name and keyword guidelines. We want to identify that sermon, the actual file, with sermon, the word sermon as a keyword, the pastor as a keyword, downtown as a keyword, and west side as a keyword as well, since that was the other one of our congregations that it was preached at, and also the passage. And in this case, you only need book and chapter. We don't want to clutter it up with the verses as well. It'll also give people broader search results when people look for 2 Timothy 3. It's not there, and they should have been looking for 2 Timothy 3 verses 12 to 15 or whatever. So we put sermon, downtown. I think I said west side was another one of the ones where it was preached, and then also pastor and whatever other themes that were in there as well. Again, it should be on the sermon summary sheet. So after that, you go to File, select the file that select the file that you need to upload, and then make sure you have this optimize audio checked. Now this optimized audio will conserve space on the CMS by resampling the audio file into something with a smaller sample rate. So what that means is it'll take, let's say, an 80 gig file, or 80 meg file, excuse me, and then shrink it down into something that's maybe like 20 or 30 megs. This is going to be very helpful. However, if it's not already optimized, when you go to upload it, it's going to take a long time. So no matter what, whenever you upload files to the CMS, it's going to take a long time in general. So if that means you sit there 10-15 minutes, then so be it. There's no like pop-up that comes up and tells you how much time is left. But that's about it for adding sermons. If you have any questions, comments, you can post them below in the comment section. And that's about it.